bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Hey, what's good? Happy Monday, good afternoon, and welcome. It's the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, 100.7 The Score mobile app, and on television, Fox 34 News Now, YouTube, Fire Stick, Roku, Apple TV. A lot of different ways you can take us in, however you're doing so. Thank you for choosing to be part of our Monday, as we're part of yours. Alongside Trent Hilliard, I'm Chois Woodman. Lucas White across the way taking care of us. You can also join the conversation. We welcome thoughts, comments, questions. A little bit of everything there on the Yates Flooring Center chat line through that 100.7 The Score mobile app. Take the app anywhere with you. Even listen in if you are out in Cockroach Bay Preserve, Florida.
Not going to visit there, I don't believe.
Not a cockroach guy?
No.
They're pretty nasty.
Yeah, very.
What's up, Coach? How are you?
I'm doing great.
Welcome to football week.
Hey,
We've
finally.
arrived.
Finally. So we got it all going on this week.
We got it. We got some week 0 college football, which is still a dumb name, but we've got high school football starting up this week. Preseason concludes this week in the NFL, so we're there almost.
Right.
Team we care about, obviously, will start next week, but it is the final week of prep before you get into a game week. But I am ready to park my keister on a couch and watch some college football on Saturday. I don't know how much will be appointment television. The first one, I think, will.
Right.
The one in Dublin.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it will. I don't know if will it be any must-watch games. I'll still watch whatever's on at night.
I know
Stuff.
that's why the ratings will be really high for some of those games, a lot higher than they would normally be, because everybody's itching to get back and see some college football. So, yeah, definitely be tuning in and catching that TCU North Carolina game, and then whatever else is on.
So, we will talk football. Obviously, we'll talk Red Raiders specifically. We'll get Coach's thoughts on the psychology of a locker room and bringing in transfers and those sorts of things, because it sounds like it's not a done deal officially, but it sure seems like Texas Tech's getting a new quarterback in the locker room, transfer from Florida State. So we'll dive into that and into the weeds with that. We got bowl projections before a down has ever been played. So we'll tell you where, when, what the Red Raiders are supposed to be doing in December, according to CBS Sports. We've got Jalen Brewster on the move. Not away from Texas Tech. Well, sort of, but he is transferring high schools. So that's weird. If you read any SEC message boards, they're celebrating like crazy because they think he's for sure gone from Texas Tech. But I have questions otherwise. So I really do hope. It's funny. As a Tech fan, I want Texas Tech to land Brewster because he's the number 1 player in the country, obviously. But I think I want it just as much just to shove it in the face of LSU and Texas and all these other fan bases that are saying, Tech can't do it.
Yeah.
Tech can't do it. There's no way he's going to stay there. No one goes to Lubbock. So I really want Tech to land the number 1 player in the country just as much for that reason, to, give him the what for. But we'll see. There's still a lot of time between now and December.
Yeah. Supposedly, though, he's supposed to announce.
Yeah, something.
I mean, I don't know what that means because he's already committed, which is a word that kids no longer know what means. but committed to Tech and has been and has not said anything about decommitting.
Right.
But then he's supposedly supposed to, choose between Tech and LSU. I think this week.
He's going to recommit.
I don't know.
I think it may be one of those things where he says, "Okay, quit recruiting me," type of thing. Where some guys will close their recruitment and just say, "Quit calling me and quit." Now I don't know how much Lane Kiffin would listen to that, but we'll see what that is. And I think it does sound like he's going to clarify what the heck's going on with the Cedar Hill situation too.
Right.
Because I think he played in a
scrimmage.
A scrimmage. Because I saw highlights from a scrimmage, and then the next day it's like, oh, and now he's transferring.
And supposedly the coach didn't really know. He hadn't heard anything yet from him or the family or anything.
If you're into the rumor mills, it sounds like he's been shopping to get away from Cedar Hill for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how Coach McGuire feels all about that, because obviously he comes from Cedar Hill.
Right.
There may be an academic situation where that's what's going on. But anyway, you can really get deep into the weeds of that stuff. But Brewster, Castellanos, these are two names that have an effect on Texas Tech football, but may not have any sort of effect this coming season. We have plenty of names we'll talk about that will have an effect as early as next week. And the Red Raiders getting ready to take on Abilene Christian. I have a good feeling it's going to go a little better than last time you played Abilene Christian.
If it goes any worse than it did last time.
There wasn't any margin for worse. It is funny because I've talked to people about that game after the fact, and there are legitimately people that don't remember you won that game because that's how bad it felt walking away from that game. There are people that are like, oh, man, I forgot we won it because It
didn't feel like it.
No. It took somewhat getting lucky and stopping them on a 2-point conversion in overtime to get a win. But
So what's the margin have to be for you to feel good about it? And walk away going, yeah, that was a win.
I mean, I think – I don't know if it's a margin necessarily, but it's really everybody in the second half playing everything. Like you got full-on backups in midway through the third quarter, I would say. Okay,
so what's that margin
probably
at halftime or midway through the third quarter
30 to 40 points, somewhere in that range. I think it's got to be in there. I do think, and Keith Patterson said this in a press conference interview setting somewhere last week. He said, Texas Tech is not the same program we played 2 years ago. And he is 100% right. This is a little bit of a different animal than you had going up. And I don't think Abilene Christian's quite the same either. You don't have 9-10 guys from Tech or Lubbock on the roster like you did last time around that was super motivated to try to prove something. Y'all chime in. We welcome thoughts, comments, questions, projections, a little bit of everything there on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Trashing on Deshaun Watson, that's allowed too.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Thanks for hanging with us on this Monday afternoon. This is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Chois Woodman, Trent, Hilliard with you today. Y'all continue to chime in if you've got any thoughts or comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. A few of you do here through the 100.7 The Score mobile app. First texter said, we need to expand Galaxy Stadium with the student enrollment over 45,000. Yeah, it's the highest it's ever been. It is kind of defying odds, by the way. Most enrollments across the country are going down. Most are dipping. So I don't know if that has to do with, a lot of times sports do influence enrollment. There's a lot of studies on that. Even though some presidents of universities still don't get that, still not grasping it. Fortunately, you have one at Texas Tech that very much is aligned with your sports and what's going on there. Your Board of Regents is the same. So that could be an effect. Or it could be just that Tech is cheaper to go to than a lot of places nowadays. Yeah. So as far as major universities. So whatever the reason, you're up to about 45,000 students. I don't know when the expansion talk gets going. I think you probably have to string together 2 or 3 of these type of seasons of being really dominant in the upper echelon of college football before you need to talk expansion and obviously sell out the stadium every game with that.
I don't know in this day and age if you really ever expand the general population seating.
Yeah.
It's going to be more adding more luxury suites, specialized seating and that type of stuff.
Sure.
And so even though you have students are wanting to come in, you just have that, until maybe the students pack it every single time, and we're having the overflow. I think the only expansion you would see would be just, having that grass section, what I call the grass seats. It's the turf double T down on the north end.
Yeah.
That's filled up every single game.
Yeah.
That you would have that, and so right now I still think that you're good, and you most of the stadiums that are being built now are usually smaller.
Right.
They're not building bigger stadiums.
Right.
So.
But you want to continue to defy the odds on those sorts of things. So I think you've got to show a consistent need for expansion before something happens.
Right.
And there's not a lot of room. It's just really bowling out your stadium, finishing out.
Yeah. Those corners,
the corner empty sections is where you could do it. So it may add a few thousand seats there. I don't know that there's a need for much more expansion than that. And again, that can turn into student seating, or you shift around to where it is more student seating. But it's a interesting and fair question. But I think you got to go at least another big-time season, Big 12 championship, college football playoff appearance before the demand is necessarily there for that. But you are sold out for game 1 against Abilene Christian in a game everybody showing up knows you're probably going to win by 50.
Yeah, that's outstanding, because there was a time in my college days and afterwards where people came to watch the Tech games based on who they were playing.
Very much.
And now they're coming to watch Tech, and so that's great. And they've done a tremendous job, the athletic department, the university, of making it an event, not just the game, but the whole day. All the tailgating and all the different things going on, and I saw where they're going to open up the cash center this year.
Yeah.
And make it available. So you've got the Fraser right there in the corner, just down from that, the cash center. Lots of different things in the big green space where the Coliseum used to be, and so it's just a fun environment that people go to, and then they get into the stadium, and they're enjoying what's taking place inside the stadium, not only the game itself, but all the other things, the video boards and different stuff, make it fun and friendly for most of their families to be able to go to, and so it's a great thing that they've done out there, and I'm proud that my university has done that.
For sure. Let's see, a couple more from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Adding Castellanos still makes me nervous. Do we really need him? This texter says. Like I said earlier, you want this to just be an insurance policy. You don't want to need him. It'd be great if Castellanos was a cheerleader for the majority of the season. I mean, if you have a package that fits every once in a while, great. But the idea is insurance, because unfortunately you have needed multiple quarterbacks way too often in these parts. And really, it's not a Texas Tech issue. If you're paying attention to college football, the majority of teams are having to play multiple quarterbacks in meaningful snaps in a season. Yeah. So hopefully you don't need him, but odds tell you there's a greater chance that you will.
And there's a practice element to that as well.
Sure there is.
You're somebody's got to throw the ball to all these receivers and tight ends running all these routes, and so you see that, the receivers run different routes. Each quarterback's throwing a different person or whatever. Well, you don't want them throw. It's like pitching. Yeah, you don't want them using that motion over and over all year long, or by the end of the year you get a little bit of dead arm. So I'm sure some of that is like, hey, this takes a little bit of the load off of some of our other guys as well. Just have another arm out there throwing the ball.
Technically, you had another quarterback that was supposed to be on your roster right now. So
you did.
There is an opening.
Yep.
This texter says, I think Hammond is 100% healthy or he wouldn't be playing. There may be some mental/trust aspects to work through for him personally, but as far as his ACL recovery, my understanding is that he's 100% recovered. Has someone said otherwise? I can't imagine that they would play him if his recovery wasn't complete, especially in either of the first 2 games.
Yeah, and I said it takes a little while. It's my experience. Trust. It usually takes about 12 months before you're fully back to doing all the things that you can do and have the strength and the movement and all that. Not that it hasn't healed, but you haven't gotten back,
right?
Because you had that time off, and so it's a process that usually just dealing with athletes and of course I've been dealing with on the girls side and not as much on the guys side, but
sure.
But it's kind of, you just see that at 12 months, boom, they're full strength, full jumping, full go, and so not only has it healed, but now it's regained your strength in your leg and all that type of stuff. So that was my comment on that. Is
sure.
I'm absolutely sure they're not going to put him out there if he's not ready to go for injury purposes.
Medically, yeah.
But I don't think he'll be 100% back to what his legs can do until we hit that 12 months. So clarify that a little bit.
There's a good chance. But I will say Will Hammond is one of the, if not the hardest workers I've ever been around. So if he's attacked his rehab in that way, maybe he does. He's ahead of what most people would do. But you never know until you're really in 100% game mode,
right,
of how much you can trust and how much it feels, quote-unquote, normal. This text says, why is Brewster transferring? Does it make you nervous that he's going to SEC country? Yes and no. I don't think it's any more nervous than it was before. Until he signs in December, nothing's for sure because he is the number 1 player in the country. And most of the time, the number 1 player in the country ends up at LSU or Georgia or Alabama or Texas or whatever. So these schools are going to do everything they can to try to keep him from landing in Lubbock, Texas. The location of the school, it's a little unsettling that it's right in the heart of Georgia country.
Right.
Buford, but if you really kind of piece everything together, read between the lines on the situation, he's going to what was deemed the national champions of high school football last year. So it's a really good football school and situation. And this wasn't the first time he's been looking to transfer.
Right. And other schools, other places, they have NIL in their high schools.
Yes, that matters too. And I believe Georgia is one of those states.
You can get paid a little bit. We're not talking the millions and things that some of these are getting, but yeah, you can get paid a little bit, and the academics help you graduate and get there early.
Brewster's Millions. That's a movie, right?
There we go. And maybe being in Georgia, they're going to spread all their Lane Kiffin and LSU hate to him because Georgia's not the opposite. It's LSU and us, from what I understand. So they can't be loving on LSU.
It's the bottom line on 100.7 Score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Last time we're picking games, and there are very few today, as it is our blind projections kind of closing out the summer, as it is game week for some teams in college football this week. So we'll get into some of that here shortly. But the Arizona Wildcats, because Jamie gave us the great idea of going in reverse alphabetical order earlier this summer.
I gave you that idea?
I think you inspired it. I don't remember what exactly happened, but it made me think we should do that. You're full of inspiration, Jamie. You're basically like a Chicago song.
Okay. I bring meaning to your life.
You're the inspiration. I bet neither of those guys have any idea. How often does Chicago
Want to
come
have
on
me near
here?
you?
Wanna hear me say it. I love Chicago. That's actually like a top 5 band I want to see before they go kaput. All right, Arizona Wildcats, Jamie. Looks like Rogers is going to pick for us today. And y'all get to pick 3 games because we have all of the Big 12 slate, since this is the last team, already picked.
Good.
Northern Arizona, the first team that Arizona will face. Go Lumberjacks.
No, Arizona will lose. Arizona will win.
Arizona will lose.
They're already abbreviated NO Arizona.
Why? No Arizona. Okay.
They'll lose.
Okay.
Wildcats win.
I will take the Wildcats as well.
Yeah, I'll take the Wildcats too.
Didn't think we would have any dissent there. We've already picked the BYU game, which is the first Big 12 game of the season, and we all chose Brigham Young to win at home over Arizona. That's
the second game of the season?
I think
second week of the season?
It's the second week of the season. It's the very first Big 12 game of the year.
Good.
Should be a pretty marquee game.
Yeah.
The next one up.
Hopefully it's not on the same time as ours.
Hope not.
Sure it
No.
is.
It's 2:30.
Good.
And we play, I think, at like 6:15 Central, something like that, against Oregon State. So it'll be right after ours. Northern Illinois, the brand new Mountain West team. This is a real thing.
Northern Illinois is in the Mountain West now?
That's right? Okay. I thought so.
Okay.
Northern Illinois in the Mountain West is playing at Arizona. Wildcats or Huskies, Jamie?
Arizona. Wildcats.
Same here.
I think the Wildcats also win that one.
Wildcats. Who was the quarterback? Remember, there was a year in the BCS where Northern Illinois was really good one year. Do you remember it?
I thought it was a running back.
Was it a running back? Okay.
I thought it was a great running back who had like a 2,000-yard season.
Okay. I just remember them being good one year. Ooh, I think we just got some breaking news. We'll get to it in a moment. At Washington State. The first bit of sort of test.
Garrett Wolf,
the running back?
Yeah.
Okay. Look at you with the memory.
Mm-hmm.
An elephant, this one. Just the memory, nothing else.
Okay. What was the question? I'm sorry.
At Washington State. Question
I'll take Arizona.
I'll also take Arizona.
Arizona's going to win that one too.
Okay. So
I'm
Rogers
exhausted from all these questions. Is that all the games we have to pick?
That's all the ones.
Okay, good.
We all chose we chose Arizona over Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Then at West Virginia, also chose Arizona. Home against Iowa State, also chose Arizona. There are very few picks we didn't choose the same on. At Texas Tech, we went Red Raiders on that one.
Homers.
Versus TCU, a 9:15 kickoff on a Friday night. We all chose Arizona at Casino del Sol Stadium. Versus Utah, also all chose Arizona. Do you want to change that one? Because you've become pro-Utah.
Where is it?
Arizona. Tucson.
No, I'll stick with Arizona.
At Kansas State, Jamie was the only one that picked the Purple Wildcats in this one.
I got a feeling.
You might be right on that one. And then versus Arizona State, we all chose Arizona on Friday.
That one's at home.
That one's at home.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was this high on Arizona. Because if you would have asked me, I would have said 9-3 or 8-4 for Arizona. Probably 9-3. I have Arizona at 10-2 and 7-2 in the league. Our producer chair has Arizona at 10-2 and 7-2. And Jamie, you're the one that's down on the non-purple kitties. You got them 9-3 and 6-3.
Okay.
Overall, as a group, we went 10-2 and 7-2. I do think it is one of those schedules that plays out semi-favorably. I would say the ceiling is probably 10-2, though, for Arizona. So we're kind of picking the ceiling there. Because I do not think they're going to win at Texas Tech or at BYU. I'd be very surprised if they're winning either of those places.
One of those.
The other kind of swing games are the Kansas State one in Manhattan.
You feel like if they win one of those games that they probably would, but not definitely, find themselves in the Big 12 championship.
One would think so, yeah.
Because that would mean that they're a pretty good squad.
And probably tie-breaking over the other, whoever they beat.
Yeah, maybe so.
BYU or Texas Tech, just depending what would happen. But there's there's probably 5 losable games on this schedule to me for Arizona. It's those two. It's versus Utah, it's at K-State, and versus Arizona State. They happen to finish with 3 of those losable games. So how Arizona finishes the season obviously will be a massive telling point on what ends up happening with the Wildcats. But we've got them 10-2 as a group, which is one of the highest. We'll go through tomorrow. We'll go compile all the standings from all the games and let you know what our standings look like for our blind projections on the bottom line. But
sneak peek, Texas Tech's going to win the conference.
Why'd you spoil it? God, Jamie. I think you're right, though. Let's see. Sinbad was great in Shazam. That didn't happen. Okay, that's one of those. What do they call them? Mandela effects. There are people that think this is a real thing, and like, do you know what a Mandela effect is?
No.
It's where you think something happened. Like, there's a group of people that are sure something happened and it never actually existed. Okay? So I think that's what a Mandela effect is.
Like,
so,
all the Mayfield family thinks that Cliff Kingsbury wronged Baker?
Basically, yeah, that one. That's a Mandela effect. So people think there was a movie about Shazam, or about Sinbad in Shazam, and it's like linked to Kazam with Shaq. So it's like, but it never existed. All right. Just getting really into weird stuff there. Sinbad is in Good Burger. Okay. I didn't know what. Yeah, that's a little. That was when I was pretty young. Brett G said Sinbad had a big stroke several years ago and has been trying to recover from it. I think he may be in a wheelchair. He was an incredible stand-up comedian. That is where I will always remember him. There you go. Hope he recovers.
Yes, definitely. I always thought he was funny.
Better example for your baseball example is Tech softball. Probably so. I mean, you definitely skipped some steps with softball.
No question.
Jumped straight from never winning a postseason. Was it postseason game or postseason series? I think it's series.
Yeah.
You hadn't won a regional. Yeah. So you hadn't won a regional and then went to
the national
championship game.
2 years in a row.
That's skipping a whole lot of steps there. But yes, that's probably a better example. But the deal with Tech softball is I don't know that the anger will be there necessarily like it would be with Tech, or was with Tech baseball. I don't know. Could be wrong. Someone says, but again, Indiana skipped just as much and nobody was bothered by them. Before a couple years ago, Indiana was widely considered the worst college football team in the country historically. Yeah, I think Cuban, Cash, and Cignetti to raise them to the top.
Yeah, I think Texter brings up a good point. What it is exactly about Texas Tech that has made people, has rubbed them the wrong way, I'm not really sure. I don't know if, as I said on the chat line, I don't know if it's the brashness of your main booster, if that's kind of done it, where other people didn't like that. Whereas maybe it's quieter with Indiana. I'm not really sure. I don't know what the difference is there, but because I think it's a good example by the texter.
I don't know that there's a more brash coach than Kurt Cignetti, though. He's a confident guy.
Yeah, he definitely is. I would give him that.
It's the bottom line on 100.7 Score.
bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Alongside Jamie Lent, I'm Chois Woodman. This is the Bottom Line. 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Happy to be part of your Monday on this week that brings us college football. We'll talk some college football. We'll talk Red Raiders, TCU drama, whatever you want to get into here as we roll along. Get Jamie's thoughts on Tommy Castellanos. But before we do, we'll get Jamie's question.
Time now for Jamie's question of the day on 100.7 The Score. Presented by Connecticut of West Texas. Life's hard, your water shouldn't be.
Okay, gentlemen. I'm asking you a question today that I hope it's not taken as being negative. It's just I'm intrigued by the answer.
Okay.
Okay? If the Red Raiders were to add Tommy Castellanos to the mix, is this A, an indictment on Will Hammond,
Okay.
B, an indictment on Kirk Francis, or C, none of the above? And explain your
Can I give
answer.
two half answers?
And explain your answer.
Can I give two halves? Because I think it's somewhere between B and C. I think it is. I think if you felt like really good about Kirk Francis, it's probably not happening. If you felt really good that if Will Hammond goes down, you're getting close to the same thing, it's probably not happening. But I lean closer to C, which is none of the above, because I look at this as almost completely an insurance policy. You had the roster spot open, i.e. Brendan Sorsby, had the spot open in the quarterback room, and you can add experience to your room, more experience than anybody else has in that room. So I think it's just an opportunity that just happens to fit as a puzzle piece for your team. So I lean towards none of the above, but I think there is a little bit of B going on with it.
Okay, Rogers?
I'm going to say C. I think it really is, just like Choice said, an insurance thing. I think that he does have a lot of experience, which is really good in a quarterback room that could use experience like that. But I really think he's just kind of going to be a emergency kind of guy, and it's not anything flashy.
So you guys have used the term insurance, okay, which I think is a fair term here.
Yep.
Kirk Francis is not insurance. I mean, he's got a lot of experience in Division I football, too.
I think when you have valued assets in the real world, a lot of people will
a higher level of insurance.
You up the insurance.
Oh.
You want to make sure your butt's covered.
Here's where. So, I guess I'm closer to Choice on my answer. Okay, little B, a little C.
But none of A? I don't look at really any of A on this particular situation. If they were saying, or if the thought was he was going to come in and compete for Will Hammond's job, which there is zero thought there,
so
then yeah.
There's a couple different things here that I think. First off, we've talked before about, okay, if you were having to use one of the backups, not Will Hammond, which one would you want for short term to finish out a game, and which one would you want long term, right?
Right.
And I think a lot of us said Kirk Francis short term, like, hey, go finish this game.
Yep.
And
Chubb Jones. Lloyd Jones, yeah.
Yeah, Lloyd Jones as the long term, right?
Yeah.
You agree with that?
I think a lot of people have said that.
Okay,
yes.
that's kind of where I am. Okay. I think, first off, I don't think that Mr. Castellanos will be a factor early on at all for the Red Raiders.
I don't either.
And truth of the matter is, by the time he is up and ready to go, like with this offense, they're super confident in him. It'll be at a point in the season where you don't need your backup very much.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So by the time he's up to speed in your offense and his timing and your receivers and all that kind of stuff, I don't think he will be a big factor for the Red Raiders. But if in game 5 or 6 of the season, Will Hammond were to get hurt and you were like, hey, we need somebody to start for 3 games or 4 games or the rest of the season, I think he's the guy that you would go to. Okay, with his experience and his ability, I think you'd go to him over Kirk Francis. So, and Lloyd Jones as well. So I think he's insurance for a long-term injury, if that makes sense.
I think that's
I think they
fair.
feel good enough about Kirk Francis or Lloyd Jones that, okay, we could survive those guys coming in and finishing a game for us or maybe even making a start. But they're thinking if there's a long-term injury, we need Castellanos would be an upgrade for us. Okay? So that's where I feel like I'm right there close to you, Choice, in between B and C. Now, there's a couple other things I think about, and I heard your conversation with Trent earlier today.
Okay.
First off, your offensive play calling. I wonder a little bit if, let's go back to the Arizona State game, where we all felt like the book was not wide open for Will Hammond. Was that A, because, okay, we just be a bus driver, don't lose this game for us, we have an awesome defense, or was it B, okay, we're one injury right now away from going, one hard hit on you from going to our third-string quarterback.
Wake Forest is coming in.
Okay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, right?
Absolutely.
So maybe that affected your play calling and how you used Will Hammond, who, oh, by the way, is a great athlete and is good running the football.
Right.
So if you have Castellanos, maybe you feel a little bit more comfortable opening up the playbook with Will Hammond being able to run the ball more, and you're not playing as cautiously with him, on some RPO stuff and letting him keep and run the football. So I think that's a thing that I think could make it, he could improve the Red Raiders just by being that insurance plan there and it allowing your offensive coordinator to open up the playbook a little bit more because you're not so scared of going to the next guy.
Yeah.
Okay? And I don't mean, scared's probably not the right word. That's probably disrespecting Kirk Francis, but you're more confident in your options. Okay? Now, one other thing I wanted to say that you asked the question about, would it affect the locker room at all? Okay.
I think that's the question when people are criticizing it all.
Yeah.
I think that's what I've seen the most of.
Well, what do you think Kirk Francis did when he signed here? Lloyd Jones came here to play, thought he was in a certain spot, and Kirk Francis jumped in front of him in line.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And Castellanos would be doing the same thing.
Sure he would.
Right? So it's like the
it
old.
would be kind of, yeah.
It's like the old saying, right? If you're a guy and you cheat with a married woman and then she's with you and then she cheats on you, you're like, why are you surprised? She cheated with you.
Right.
Of course, she'd cheat on you again. So Kirk Francis can't be mad at the Red Raiders for bringing somebody in through the transfer portal to play in front of him when he did the same thing to Lloyd Jones. It's just the way of college football now.
For sure right now it is.
It's the way that it is. So if Kirk Francis was upset about it, you'd have to go, well, didn't you just do the same thing?
Pretty well.
So I think there's no risk of ruining any kind of locker room chemistry or anything like that.
But I think, like Trent said, a while back, yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, we're in a different world.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's much more accepted and
if these guys
understood.
if these guys are anything like me, if week 6 of the season, somebody from the NFL decides they want to come back to college football and they let them on a college football team, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay? So these players aren't going to be bothered by this. I mean, they're probably disappointed that
Sure.
he's in front of them, but they know that's the way of college football now.
Yes. Yeah. I think so. And the one thing you did say is you may not need your backup later in the season. Will Hammond played in every single game of the first 8 games of the year last year. If you're beating the snot out of everybody.
Yeah, but he was kind of used as a change of pace and all that kind of stuff at times, and you did some different things with him, different packages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is that time of day. Time to tell me I'm wrong. The Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score app. About a half hour left with you. Choice, Jamie, Lucas, and Rogers all here today. All right, fellas. I'm here to tell you Jamie Lent should bring back the rat tail if Texas Tech wins the national championship. Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't understand these.
Oh, man.
If somebody does something I should do, or anyone should do something stupid thing. Like if you were to say,
why would that be stupid?
Like if you were to say, if I were to ask you, Choice, would you shave your head if it guaranteed Tech would win a championship?
Right, and it's
okay. So
obvious,
like,
yes,
what my doing something stupid would lead to greatness? Like I'm all in, right?
Of course.
But once we've already won, why do I now need to do something stupid?
Just because you're pushing the good karma in the right direction. That's what it is.
I don't understand these.
The world and everything in it wants to see Jamie back with a rat tail, so it will all end up in a Tech national championship.
Like
just so this can
talking
happen.
About running through the streets naked if the Rangers won the division or whatever. That just sounds like he's looking for an excuse to run through the streets naked.
What's your point? Okay, that was not actually my real one. I do want to see the rat tail back. My actual one, we don't talk a lot of recruiting. We don't, but we'll dabble a little bit. Tech has actually gotten really good in recruiting, if you haven't noticed, Jamie. This you're pretty good on this recruiting trail thing, including Texas Tech having the #1 recruit in the entire country that's been committed to your class for a while, their 2027 class. My tell me I'm wrong is a pretty simple statement. Despite the news of Jalen Brewster moving to Georgia over the weekend, he still ends up at Texas Tech signing in December. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm going to say I'm not any more fearful because he moved to Georgia.
Okay.
It seems like he moved to Georgia so he could get NIL money in high school.
That's kind of what I was getting at, to see if that.
And apparently he can graduate early there, and he couldn't here. I don't know.
Yep.
So he can get to college and get more NIL money quicker.
Right. Texas does not allow high school kids to earn NIL, and Georgia
The horror.
does.
How do these kids make it?
You know, it actually makes more sense for high school kids to be able to, not more sense, but I don't mind it as much, especially if they're living in a bad situation. I don't know that Jalen Brewster is, but that's a different conversation.
You know, he's obviously been committed to you for a while, but he has been clearly flirting
Sure.
with LSU for quite a while as well. Doesn't seem to hide it or whatever.
Nope.
But in today's era where it just feels like it's about guys don't flip as much because it's like they agree to a contract, so to speak, with one school.
Pretty well.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say that you're right. I think he still ends up here.
Rogers?
I think he probably still ends up here, yeah. I mean, I think that the whole Georgia thing was definitely for NIL money, the reason he switched states to play football, but I think he'll end up staying with Tech.
Yeah, I don't think we should worry about that. I think that's totally just a high school
I think
NIL
it's just.
thing.
I think it's just.
Yeah.
I think if you look elsewhere in the country, everybody's wanting to make it that. If you're looking at, Georgia social media or message boards or LSU or whatever, everybody's wanting to make. Oh, he moved to SEC country. That's a terrible sign for Texas Tech.
And isn't there reports that his parents have already purchased a house here in town?
There's chatter, yeah. Yeah, there's chatter
or that somebody purchased it for him.
That's happened, something along those lines. There's been chatter that he was looking at schools elsewhere, maybe even in Lubbock, Texas, before this year happened.
Other schools in Lubbock, Texas? He's signing with LCU?
No, other high schools.
Okay.
There's the rumor mill's wild.
They don't
when
have
it comes
football.
to Jalen
Somebody needs
Brewster.
to tell him.
No, not those schools. But Wayland does.
Wayland does? That's right.
That's Plainview, though. Not quite Lubbock. When is Plainview the Lubbock Metro? Do we count them as a?
Yeah, seems close enough.
That's close. So anyway, there's all sorts. If you get into the rumor mill on Jalen Brewster, it's quite wild.
I think I'm still confident he's going to end up a Red Rider.
I am too. I think
he seems to be a kid that's enjoying the attention.
Very much so.
That's what I'm seeing.
He is also the number one player in the country. I'm guessing these visits that he's taking elsewhere, he's probably getting to enjoy himself quite a bit on these visits. Probably getting to eat the best and finest of foods, ride around in the best of cars you can think of, stay in the nicest hotels.
How many other visits has he gone on?
I think he's done all 5 of his allotted official visits.
Which are the other schools? Besides LSU and Texas Tech.
I'll have to pull up the on 3 on Jalen Brewster to know the.
I know he did Florida.
Okay, yeah, I do remember that one.
Texas.
Okay,
LSU, obviously.
Indiana.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Good job. Lucas is our crack research team.
He has a YouTube channel that he.
I've heard, and apparently there's going to be some sort of announcement in the next day or so on his YouTube channel.
Of what?
Recommitting to Texas Tech or something along those lines, and an explanation of why he's going to Georgia. That's what is being said. So,
well, let me.
Jamie's going to be locked in. Got to get subscribed to that YouTube channel.
Ooh. I'll definitely hit like and follow there.
I said this earlier, Jamie. I think I want him to end up at Texas Tech because he's the number one player in the country, and that's a good thing for your team, obviously.
Me too, obviously, at a position where it's hard to find great players.
Right. But I think I want it just as bad to shove it to all these LSU
especially
and
Lane
Texas
Kiffin.
fans that are so sure he's not going to end up in Lubbock.
Yeah, no doubt.
I want it so much just to show, hey, we can get the number one player in the country here. Because there's been doubt towards Texas Tech all along the way, all through this.
And you would think whatever money that we are offering him, those schools can offer just as much.
You would think. You would think so. I mean, he's the number one player in the country, so that's something that you can, hang a banner for, proverbially. You can, to be able to claim you get the number one player in the country is a big deal for anybody. And you can say that to other recruits and that sort of thing. So, again, I just think it has to do with NIL like you guys are talking about, but I also think it has to do with the school situation. He was obviously looking earlier this summer for another one. What's the weirdest part of the whole story to me is that I saw a Jalen Brewster highlight on Friday night from his scrimmage at Cedar Hill, and then we get this announcement on Saturday. So he scrimmaged with Cedar Hill. So I think this was a bit of a surprise to their team, which stinks for that. I hate it for the team. I hate it for
So is the district that he's moving to in Georgia going to be like, nah, he's moving for athletic purposes? No, technically he's moving for financial purposes. It's not athletic purposes.
Financial and academic, it sounds like, purposes as well. Nothing to do with athletics.
Y'all fools are dumb over here, and we get through class a lot easier over here, so we're coming over to Georgia.
Make it easier. Let's see. This from the...
Yes, Choice. I just said y'all fools.
I just thought that was normal vernacular for
you.
So
I did that just for you.
Michael says if you could take one player from a Tech football team between Cliff's first year and Joey's first year, who would you add? Can't say Jordan Brooks. Okay. That was probably the best answer.
Can I say Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, that's gotta be the right answer. No, forget the best answer being Jordan Brooks. Yeah, it's Patrick Mahomes.
He'd be a good fit.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Will Hammond. If Patrick Mahomes is coming back, Forget Tommy Castellanos.
He is coming off a knee injury, though.
Yeah, I'd still take him. Probably. Okay, is there someone other than Pat you would take? There's a few receivers that I would really consider. Jakeem would be one that would be hard to ever turn down.
It had to be up to Joey's first year?
Up to Joey's first year.
Okay, so I couldn't take David Bailey.
No, no, that would be the...
Yeah, because I'd welcome him back with open arms.
Yeah, I think so.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.